So headlines, I'm going to make the case here that your headline should indicate stinky teeth, question mark. It's a good example. Your headline should indicate a specific benefit. So the context of headlines are search results pages or social media sites. Look at these different headlines. How to get more traffic from every post, plus how we grew traffic 400% in 8 months. Compared to this, the art of managing a brand page, or a speech you will never hear again. These are all different tactics, right? This one's kind of weak. This one's super specific about the benefit. This one creates kind of a curiosity gap, which we'll talk about. But more likely, your headlines are competing in this cutthroat world for attention in context like this. Wow. You know, it's very hard to stand out. This is a battle. This is a war for attention. And to win that, we have to give the visitor a reason to click. Every visitor, ourselves included, every person looking at every page, does a tiny cost-benefit calculus before clicking on anything. Does that look like it's going to give me value? Sometimes the headlines are just too specific. The average full-time work week is 47 hours. I'm good. I don't need to know. Great. What else do you want to know? Like, why would I click on that thing? Right? Compared to this. 9 out of 10 Americans are completely wrong about this mind-blowing fact. You've seen these before. What's that called?
Leading.
Clickbait. Yeah, a leading headline, right? They're creating a curiosity gap. So the first one was the LA Times, the Gallup poll. The second one was like Upworthy. That first article on a major media publication, LA Times, got shared. This is on BuzzSumo. I'm using BuzzSumo to evaluate the sharing. On BuzzSumo, that got shared 2,000 times. 9 out of 10 Americans are wrong about this mind-blowing fact, right? Or 5 things your dentist doesn't want you to know, right? What are they? I got to know. I got to click. That correlates with sharing. 1,600,000 shares on that one URL. One of the top shared articles last year. Something else that leads to sharing is emotion. Anxiety, anger, and awe tend to get shared much more. This is according to that guy who did a study on the New York Times homepage to see which articles made it to the most shared email box. They later wrote a book about it called Contagion. It's about virality. Who wants to put something sad in their social stream, right? Nobody. Trigger anxiety, anger, or awe, and you have a greater chance of being shared. There's actually a tool for this. It's called the Emotional Marketing Value Headline Analyzer. Just put your headline in there. It gives you a percentage.
Jesus Christ. Do they have anything, numbers for everything nowadays?
Yeah, they do. They've got numbers for everything nowadays. These are quantifiable things. It's science. It's a science, right? I believe, though, in art, not just science. And it's a good marketer that takes risks and tries new things and experiments, paying no attention to this stuff. If I feel passionate about a topic, I don't do any research on it. I just want to write that thing. I'm ready to write it. I feel good about it. I want people to know. I'm giving a presentation tonight that I don't know if anyone cares about it at all, but I think it's important. We'll see. It might fail. That's fine. You know, here's another important message. Crickets don't kill you. What happens if nothing happens? Nothing. Right? If you hear crickets, like it's silence. It's an American saying, right? It's like, oh, I heard, you know, like it was so quiet you could hear crickets in the background. It doesn't hurt your marketing. It's just that nothing happened. So go try something else. Marketing is great for people who take risks and try things. They're experimenting. But yeah, if you want to be a scientist about it, headlines that get a higher score on that chart are statistically more likely to get shared. Articles that get higher score on that tool are statistically more likely to get shared. Emotion does correlate with sharing. And that's kind of all you need to know about it, right? Do you feel something when you write this? Do you invest something? Do you worry a little bit before you hit publish? It's a good sign. People love numbers. People love numbers. Let me show you my formula for writing headlines. I like to put the keyword I'm targeting. I like to put the keyword first because I want to indicate relevance to Google. But then I like to put a number next because I want people to click on it and I want people to share. Let's reverse engineer my headline tactics. Number, that's an episode of a podcast. There's a number. Collaborative content marketing, 5 powerful ways to upgrade your content. Target key phrase, collaborative content marketing. Number, 5. The number is for humans. The keyword is for Google. It's a little bit strong to say it that way. Here, let's try this. Collaborative, I haven't checked, content marketing. I published this recently and I haven't really checked the rank yet. Not on page 1. I'm at the top of page 2. So if I want to get this up to page 1, I'm going to be writing on related topics and linking back to it. I'm going to be connecting with bloggers and making sure they know about it. I'm going to be reaching out, doing outreach, publishing more things, maybe in more formats, and maybe make a video about this or an infographic. That might attract attention. I would just want more content creators to know about it. I could also just make it a better page and use the key phrase on the page more often. Authority and relevance. Use the key phrase on the page more often as relevance. Get other people to link to it as authority. Yeah, but that headline hack is something that you're all welcome to use. Numbers correlate with sharing and have always correlated with sharing. There's lots of studies that show this, numbers. Reader addressing how-to is effective. Questions are the bottom. Now, I recommend putting the meaning of your headline at the front. Look at this. How-to Tuesday, number 17. This is my friend. He's a photographer. He teaches photography in New Orleans. How-to Tuesday, number 17. Healing, cloning, and cleaning your photographs. These are different Photoshop tools. Healing, cloning, and cleaning. Now, the problem with this headline is that the value of it, the meaning of it, is at the end, which is a problem when it gets shared. Let's put that in Facebook. How-to Tuesday, number 17. Healing, cloning, and cleaning. What? That doesn't make any sense. I can't tell what that's about. The mobile inbox is another reason. You get very few characters. Put the topic at the front of the headline, more likely to get value across. Help visitors make that cost-benefit calculation and decide whether to click. This kind of serializing your topics, How-to Tuesday 17, really doesn't tell the visitor much unless they're so interested in this series that they are waiting for that, which is unlikely. I would have written more of a benefit-driven headline. Better photographs through simple Photoshop tools. Right? There's the value. Better photographs, reducing the investment. Simple Photoshop tools. Make the cost higher and the investment lower. That's why people click. So indicate the benefit. That's making a promise. Or trigger curiosity. Don't give away too much. Also using numbers, asking questions. There's certain power words, verbs, words that trigger emotion. And make it sized to fit the purpose. I also like phrases that put the keyword first. And good people who are really good at this, editorial teams, they don't write one headline. They write 5 headlines and choose one. Or they write 25 headlines and choose one. We always write 5 different headline variations and sit down as I sit down with my marketing manager and like, which one of these do we think will work? It's kind of lazy. It's not a good, you got to work a little harder on the headline than you might think. It's really one of the most important pieces. Another way to illustrate this point, articles do not get shared in social media ever. The only thing that gets shared in social media is the headline, right? That's the only thing that actually gets shared, the link in the headline. Articles don't get shared. Articles don't rank, right? It's the headline. So now I want to point out formatting. This is important research. It's done by the Nielsen-Norman Group, and they looked at web pages and estimated, and based on the number of words on the page, and based on the average reading speed of 250 words a minute, they found that the average reader reads maybe 28% of the words on a page. It might be more like 20%. This sounds cynical, and it's not always true. But visitors to pages tend not to read every word. They scan. Our visitors are scanners, like all of us. We're all scanners. So the key here is to never, never write this. Never write anything like this. That's just like a wall of text. This isn't college, and it's not assigned reading. The back button is the one feature every web page has in common. And everyone can leave your website, right? We don't want to be ignored. This is a way to be ignored. So what we want to do is to break that up and put in lots of formatting, right? Like little subheaders, shorter paragraphs. Even this is much better than this. So we build websites, and our clients all say we want a site that looks like Apple. All of our clients say they want a website that looks like Apple. What are they saying? They want a clean, modern design. Specifically, white space. Designers know they need to leave white space. But writers didn't get the memo. That's the problem here. There's no white space. Do you ever go on vacation and read like a Dan Brown book? And every page is like every chapter is like one page. Like, oh, this book's great. I'm just flying right through it. That's it. That's formatting, right? That's the trick that they're using to keep you moving through the book, right? This is not like James Joyce anymore. We can't do it that way. Short paragraphs get read. Long paragraphs get skimmed. Very long paragraphs get skipped. If you don't want someone to read something, just make it a long paragraph, and trust me, no one's going to read it. I'm a big, big fan of including those short paragraphs. My general rule is I never write a paragraph longer than 3, maybe 4 lines. Just make that part of your editorial guidelines or make it a general rule. Never write a paragraph, not for digital, anywhere else, whatever you want to do. Write a book, some other context, some place that doesn't have a back button. But in digital, never write a paragraph longer than 3 or 4 lines. So you'll slow down the scanners. You'll get people flowing through it and reading a greater percentage of the words. Speaking of words, you guys all have, how many years of school did you have to do this job? Like 20? It's like 16, it's an amazing amount of education that each of you has. And in that time, you got exposed to a lot of serious topics. You know, this is like there's a lot of science behind what you do. The problem is we can't use those words in marketing. You know who that is? You guys recognize this? Downton Abbey, Lord Grantham. I need to find a new slide soon because no one really knows who that guy is. He's wearing a white tie, so he's a fancy guy. He's I don't know, some baron in England is the story. And he uses fancy words, long words, polysyllabic words like acquire, transmit, construct, resist, deposit, imitate, determined. Now, Lord Grantham's on the phone with this guy. Who's that guy? The dude. The dude from The Big Lebowski, played by Jeff Bridges. He uses short, simple words that are direct and to the point. These words have the same meaning as what Lord Grantham said. Get, send, build, stop, put, mock, set. English is a mutt of a language. We have words from all different places. Right? It's the Germanic words that are short, more direct, more curt, and forceful. It's the Latinate words from the Romance languages that are long and fancy and sound pretty, are not good for your marketing. You want to use the short paragraphs. We also use short sentences and short words. Use short words whenever you can. Now, this isn't about PR, but what does this product do? Gets the red out. Is there a shorter, more direct way to say that? I can't trim a single letter out of that. It's perfect. It gets the red out. Right? You can't perfect that. That is perfection. What does this product do? Kills bugs dead. I love this even better, right? It kills bugs dead. That's not even proper English. The idea is to use words that 100% of our audience knows what they mean, and 0% of our audience feels dumb when they hear them. This one actually makes me feel smart. I know that's not proper English. So we want to use short, simple words. Here's a bit of editing. I actually just threw in a sentence I wrote for some reason. This was perhaps the most significant finding of the study. I can improve on that, right? This was perhaps the biggest finding of the study. This might be the biggest finding of the study. Feel the difference? This might be the biggest finding of the survey. It gets better every time. You see what I'm doing? So the idea is that we write for an 8th grade reading level. But that doesn't mean dumbing it down. That's what newspapers do, I think, right? Something like that. Like 8th grade is not that low. So Nielsen-Norman Group again discovered this when they did a study on this healthcare website they redesigned or rewrote. And the goal was to improve the success rate for low literacy users. And that worked. They went from 46 to 82%. But surprise, surprise, PhDs also prefer to read at an 8th grade level. Everybody does. Use short, simple, direct words, short sentences, and short paragraphs. Don't use jargon. In my industry, this is really important because 1 in 10 Americans think that HTML is an STD. I can't use that word. I gotta look out. Be careful what words you use. They could easily be misunderstood. So we're going to share these slides, so don't bother writing these down. But these are the words that get clicked the most often in Google, according to research. These are the words that appear most often in viral blog posts. Here they are, Carolyn. These are the negative words that get shared the most. Kill, fear, dark, bleeding, war. But they can be used in positive ways. I just mean these words somehow appear. There's all kinds of ways to use words. These are the words that appear most often in retweets, including please retweet, which I'm not sure that works so much anymore. These are the words that lead to high open rates in emails. Those are all scientific studies. These words, this is not science, but these words trigger buyer behavior. New, you, because there's a study about this. Have you heard this? Dan Ariely in the book Predictably Irrational. I love this, behavioral economics. It's like the reason why people take actions. So there's a study that shows there's a line of people waiting for the photocopy machine at a university. And the guy walks up and says, "Can I cut in line?" And most people say no. I'm not going to let you cut in line. I have to make copies too. Then he tries it again where he says, "Can I cut in line because I need to make a copy?" Most people say yes. Obviously, he's trying to make photocopies, right? Just the word "because" has a powerful impact on behavior. Always give people the reason why, right? Now, longer articles get shared more. Long articles get linked to more. There's another study. Long articles get shared and linked to more. Same finding. Long articles rank higher. The average high-ranking page in Google is 1,500 words. Google loves Wikipedia. It's a great page on so many topics. And long articles generate more leads. So the idea is to make the best page on the internet. Again, we want to make the best page on the internet for whatever topic we're writing about. The world is not waiting for a medium-quality blog post. We want to make a great page on whatever topic we're creating. It's also more likely to get pickup, right? Like, this is a detailed thing. This is a great thing. Better for outreach. And also for social media, this cannot be overstated. Images get retweeted more in Twitter. Images get shared much, much more in Facebook. So I recommend using an image in every piece of content. That was another problem we saw earlier. Remember that article that I said? Long paragraphs. There's also no images. Even more critical flaw. So use images in your content. Even this image. I'm kidding. No, never use that image. That's a horrible image. That is not good. That's a stock image, and everyone knows it's a stock image, and it adds no value at all. Say, that's a stock image. That's a stock image. I just have a strong bias against these because they're so common, so expected. This is an image I recommend that you all use in all of your marketing. It's Elmo giving someone a body slam. Like, that has impact. It's interesting. Something's happening, right? Stock photos or no stock photos. If you can't write a caption for it, it's a stock photo. You didn't add any value. You should be able to write a caption. It should have a meaning, right? If you can't write a caption for it, ask yourself, should it really be there? Can you add something that has more value? Especially in your industry, right? Prosthodontics, you've got the before and after. We saw that was a searched for phrase. I hope you all have before and after pictures somewhere in your marketing. Extremely powerful. One of the most primary ways that our brains work is by understanding contrast. The before and the after, side by side. There's no replacing that. And faces. I use faces in my imagery whenever possible. Also, when I'm using an image as an article, I put not just the face, but the title. Now it's a self-contained piece of content that indicates the benefit. Negative angle. It indicates the benefit. You know what this is about even if you only see the image. An image that just has the text, not as compelling, or just has the face. So even when I look tired and or drunk, I will take a screen grab from my video. And this picture wasn't wide enough, so I just scooched it over and stretched some pixels so I had more room to put this text here. This was from a video. Look at how the YouTubers do it. All the really popular YouTube accounts, they know this trick, right? There again, line of sight. She's leaning in this direction. If she's not looking at the headline, but if she was, it'd be even more powerful there. YouTube stars all do this. They put in a face and the headline. The face and the headline make that picture much more likely to get shared when it appears in social media. Overlaying the headline right there into the image. Visual cues, we talked about this. The baby looks at the camera, you look at the baby. The baby looks at the headline, you look at the headline. You look where they look. There's a whole science around this. This is, again, conversion rate optimization, how to get people to take action. There's a guy looking away from the form. There's a guy looking at the form. There's an arrow pointed at the form. Which of these do you think gets visitors to look at the form the most? I love these studies. The one in the middle, the guy, right? That's what I thought too. Nope, it's the arrow.
The guy looks creepy in that.
The arrow worked better. You know, it got the visitor's attention over here. That's what conversion optimization is all about. It was the arrow that performed much better. Social media images get cropped unless if they're too tall. It's kind of a landscaped, widescreen world we live in now. So the ideal images in general are going to be wider than they are tall. Here's a tip for anybody who takes a picture on their phone while you're in town. The river's right there, beautiful day. Sideways. Always take landscape-style photos. It's going to be easier to repurpose those in other places. That's just kind of how the internet works, right? It's cropping is often unfortunate. Look at this picture, like horrible. Not only was I cropped in the circle that they first used, but then it's cropped again. Like this is what we're trying to avoid. It's like the worst picture of me of all time. So this is an example of how I use the headline and the featured image, which is what gets shared if it gets shared on social media, and the article. The featured image also includes 5 marketing tactics for senior marketers. 5+ years experience, little special character. So the other thing that you're going to see in this article is that I'm not only using an image, but I want there to always be an image visible to this visitor. I'm going to press play on this. This is like a little screencast. Watch. We scroll down, that image goes away. Oh, there's another image. And when that image goes away, oh, there's another image, a quote from a pro marketer. That image goes, there's one and another quote, right? I'm seeing faces throughout. There's almost no scroll depth at which you can't see at least one picture. That's going to slow down the scan readers. That's going to make sure people keep flowing through the article. Great content. There isn't a scroll depth where you can't see at least. It's not just having a picture. It's having pictures, multiple images. And in that blogger survey I mentioned earlier, we found this is a trend, right? More bloggers, now more than half, are using multiple images on each post. Let's look at a kitten. Great content means great pictures, I should say. Great images are both interesting and useful. I just like to show that cat. OK, we'll start to wind down. I'm going to make the case here about using people. 2 marketers. One publishes content, something useful, or pitches something. One is going to take a more collaborative approach and build up relationships with content creators, or just collaborate with the rest of the people in this room. This is you guys right here. And that's one of you who's going to write something. Now, when you write that thing, put people into it. It's more likely to get shared. Now you're all invested in it. It's higher quality because these are expert contributions. And you're creating reciprocity with people who you're linking to, who might one day link back to you. Now these go live and they get shared. This one obviously gets shared a whole lot more. So which has the greater reach? So here again, content that's optimized, content all fun, oh, right? Never create a piece of content without a plan to get traffic to it. Never create a piece of content without a plan to get visitors to it. So it should be designed to attract visitors. Content optimized for search includes key phrases. It's aligned with a topic we have a chance of ranking for. Content optimized for social media includes people. Make sense? That is not obvious to a lot of marketers. I know a lot of expert marketers who skip this step. Put people, put experts, put each other, put contributor quotes. Because you are journalists and your website is the media, use sources to make your content stronger. You can either just mention other people, like you said, you don't have to ask the permission, just mention other people, but better yet, ask them for a contributor quote. Or do a roundup. Carolyn mentioned do a roundup. You got 5 questions, the 5 top questions. You found them and answered the public. The 5 top questions about dentures. Email those questions to 10 people. They email you back answers, copy, paste, copy, paste. You've got an amazing piece of content. It's called curation, right? Or you guys can write for each other on each other's websites. Just write a guest post. This is also a digital PR tactic where you're just writing a bylined article for that healthcare blog. Or take one expert and do a deep dive interview with them. Ask them lots of questions. Email back and forth until you get lots of questions. So sometimes you just get a simple quote from someone. Sometimes you do a roundup. This is 6 questions for 6 prosthodontists. Sometimes you might be doing just including contributor quotes. This is an article where I just 34 ways to get the most out of a conference. And I've got Sujan Patel is in there, and Ian Cleary, and Carrie Gorgone, and there was Barry Feldman, and there's Kathy McPhillips, and there's Ashley Fox, and there's Mac, and there's Jason, and all these people. It's like a party. Look at all the people I have in this article. That's really moving fast. So it really wasn't a surprise. When this went live, oops, sorry. all of these people, as I wrote the article, I made a note of everybody who was included in this article. Now when the article goes live, you can ask yourself, how many people were waiting for that article to go live? It shouldn't be 0. Make sense? When that goes live, there should be more than 0 people who are expecting that thing to be published because they're collaborating. They're working with you on it. Now when it goes, now you share it on social, or Jason did it for me, you just mention them, tag their practice, tag their accounts. An ally in creating content is an ally in promoting content. That article was shared 1,200 times. If you're not making friends, you're doing it wrong. So I'm going to wrap with this. We're going to deconstruct. This is actually a great time to, we're almost done here. Eugene Schwartz, copywriting legend. He wrote the book Breakthrough Advertising. This is like a classic, 1960s book on the topic. Copy is never written. Copy is assembled. So a friend of mine, she writes a magazine. She writes a blog called Your Teen Magazine, Your Teen for Parents, Parents of Teens. And she writes this article that she wants me to look at and help optimize and help promote. What you need to know about dual enrollment. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not really sure what it's about. I don't know what dual enrollment is. I'm reading through the article, and I finally figure out what this article is about. It's about ways for your teenager to get college credits before they even graduate. Ah, she buried the lead. That's the value. That's the benefit. It's right there. So let's rewrite it for her. Here's I put the benefit in the headline, a new way to save costs on college tuition. I also changed the image. Dual enrollment is now part of the text, or she did this. Dual enrollment is now part of the text. If it gets shared, people can see the headline, right? There's the benefit right there. But still, look at those long blocky paragraphs. Let's try it again. Ah, much better. It's called dual enrollment, and it can save your family thousands of dollars. There's the benefit, thousands of dollars. Literally, that's the benefit. White space, single line paragraph, numbered list, right? There's the number. There's some links in there. I'm going to try it once more. What is dual enrollment? Question mark. How can I get credits in high school? This is an SEO tactic because I know people are searching for the question. I've confirmed that in Google. What is dual enrollment? Right? This is my trick to get into the answer box. This is the #1 ranking site. This is like ranking number 0. If you want to rank number 0 for something, write the full, complete, plain English, grammatically correct question and answer. That's the trick. What is dual enrollment? Question mark. And I write this as if I'm writing for a dictionary. So finally, free college credits? Question mark. 5 steps for saving thousands on tuition. There's the number, short paragraphs, bolding, italics. The value is pushed into the headline. The image is optimized for sharing in social. It's a scannable piece, aligned with a key phrase. All we need to do is add some contributor quotes, and this would be a well-optimized article for both search and social. Glad that was useful. It's my pleasure. It's my favorite topics. I'm glad you guys seemed interested, right? I could tell you guys
like I said, for a lot of us, we know how to drill like nobody else. But when it comes to this is new for us. And a lot of times, that's where we get information from a lot of different sources, just like what Vinny said. Sometimes we don't know if what we're getting is the right information, as long as it's new for us.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's right or wrong. And if we start putting a basis for it, that will be good things. And I would like you to, the questions for you is, what is next, for us? Like we started here.
Yeah.
For us and for the people in the audience, what's the next step? Where do we go from here? What is the next parts of the digital PR that we didn't cover today?
Yeah.
That we need to know about tomorrow?
Yeah.
The day after.
I think step 1 would be that little mission statement we did at the beginning. Everything that you do in your publishing, in your content, in your pitching, in your PR, in your blog, on your website in general, even if you have no blog, just publishing anything, any page, you are where which audience gets which information for what specific benefit for them. If you just do that first, it begins to put you on that path where you're always thinking about the benefits for your audience, which is everything we were doing was really about the audience. It's about connecting with them, helping them. This is so much fun. It's so interesting to watch experts on subject matter learn just to tweak their message a little bit, right? Get those emails out of their sent mail folder onto their website, or align that thing that they're writing with a phrase, or answer that question they know that their audience really wants to know. There isn't a path necessarily. There's not one specific starting point for most of us when we started on this journey. Anything, if you do 3 things from this, any 3 things, it can help. Just go look at your homepage, or you have long paragraphs, break them up. Every little action can make a little impact. There isn't an order per se, but hopefully some of this applies and you can put into practice right away.